Hey everyone, welcome back to another LEGO video. Today we'll be taking a look at a custom set of Jay and Lloyd's Velocity Race. This custom set, of course, is based on the upcoming Prime Empire set that will be coming out January 1st for 30 USD, I believe. And once again, it is another double bike set, which, to be honest, LEGO does a lot of these. It's like every year, I think there's a new double bike set. But with that being said, if you guys do enjoy this video, make sure to subscribe to my channel and like the video if you guys do enjoy it. With that, let's jump right into it. So to start off, let's take a look at Jay's Velocity Racer. This is not really a bike, it's obviously more of a plane, and I really do like the style of this thing. It's got a lot of slopes and curves to it, which is quite an interesting style, obviously. Ultimately, the thing that sets this one apart from the other bike that I'm going to take a look at here in this custom set is the fact that it actually has a transformation feature. I could definitely see this thing in sort of a gaming style environment. I think this definitely fits the theme that they're going with for this year. It definitely isn't a very traditional looking style of plane or jet, or whatever they're going for. So I think I've captured that pretty well as well. Not only does this thing have a lot of blue sloped curved pieces on it, it also has some swords and blades, which I think makes it a little bit more aggressive and definitely adds to the design of this vehicle. Inside the cockpit, you can obviously seat Jay in there. Obviously, it only has space for one minifigure. That makes sense. That's obviously his vehicle. And in there is, it's a very tight little space, but there is quite a nice amount of detail in there as well. Moving back from that, you can see the wings on this plane are sort of swept forward in a similar style to the Kai Fighter from Season 3. We're seeing a lot of that sort of resemblance in this. But the wings are just stuck in place. You can't really do anything with the wings, although there is a slight transformations feature. Moving back from that, you can see there's quite a nice amount of detail on this thing. There's a lot of these shield pieces, I think, which helps shape the overall design here, as well as some pieces on the back to form an engine that sort of leads into this bionicle piece in a translucent green color. Obviously, that is not super accurate to the color that the actual sets have, but it does give off that same sort of trail effect, and you can see sort of how that came out here. Looking at some of the more intricate details on this plane, there are some interesting parts usages here, such as the boomerang pieces actually above sort of the wings or towards the back there. There's really a lot of things I like about this jet. However, there's one thing, as I said, that really sets this apart as something that's a little bit better than just having another bike in this set, and that is the fact that there is a really nice transformation feature. So on the back of sort of the engine here, you can see there's one of these Technic pieces that you can either just turn with your hand, or as you're supposed to do it, take the keyblade and insert that in there to sort of allow it to transform. This is my interpretation of the keyblade. Obviously, it's really not that great. It's literally just like a dagger piece with the Jin blade hilt. Anyway, so you can turn that piece and it causes the wings and the blade pieces on the side to sort of just rotate out. And so that's a really nice fluid transformation feature as sort of the wings move out. And it sort of transforms this thing from more of a, I don't know if I would really call it peaceful, but it makes it look a lot more aggressive and opens up a lot more. Of course, in the same way, you can turn it the other way and it will close it all back up, which is pretty nice, and it actually holds together surprisingly well. If you look in there, you can see it's a lot of bevel gears. I think there are about 6 bevel gears in total here. You've got one of the bigger ones on the inside, and it all basically works together so that when you spin this upper piece, it causes the wings to just move in and out. From a technical aspect, the bevel gears on the interior were relatively straightforward to design and put together. However, the ones on the outside are a little bit tougher because there's nothing really holding them down from the top, so I had to figure out other ways to sort of lock them in place, which is pretty interesting. And definitely the most time-consuming part of this entire build on a whole, like just all the different parts of the set. Definitely the longest amount of time was put into that. The overall design is just great. It manages to look very similar to the actual set, of course, as a custom set. So I'm really happy with the design work that I was able to put into this. And of course, the feature is just really clean in my opinion. And yeah, so pretty happy with that. But let's move on to the second part of the set, which is Lloyd's bike. In comparison, Lloyd's bike is relatively simple because there aren't really any crazy features on this thing. The most advanced thing you can do with this is open up the cockpit sort of area, and while it is quite a nice looking feature, it isn't anything in comparison to the wing expanding transformation feature. Once again, we see a lot of similar styles of pieces on this. You can see a lot of slope pieces, and again, that shield piece used there for some nice shaping. And again, the primary colors here are basically the lime color and the green color with a little bit of dark green as well, so it really does kind of encapsulate Lloyd's overall color scheme. Nice little detail I managed to get into this with the cockpit actually is that if you open it up, you can see there is actually a game controller. This of course is from the Series 19 CMF line, and so I was able to take that and actually put it in there as a controller. Of course, that's detail that's in the actual sets, although they're using the new controller piece for Season 12. As we move back, you can see there are these massive sort of intakes or engine sort of pieces on the sides here, which I guess lead into the engine, which we can assume I guess would be in the back, and another large wheel in the back as well. And of course on the top you can see there's a lot of nice shaping and detail with these sort of yellowish green, I believe that's the color that they are, blade pieces that lead into these swords on the back. And of course, on the back, you can see there are the 2 Bionicle pieces that represent sort of the energy trails, I guess, that come off of this thing, and that style obviously was carried over to the jet as well. So obviously the 2 vehicles are kind of the key part of this set, but there are some small side builds as well, and by small side builds, I mean they are very small. The first one here is sort of a mystery box sort of holder thing for the Keyblade, and again, that's very simple. It's just a couple pieces thrown together, and honestly, it looks fine. Nothing really spectacular there. After that, of course, we also have the main villain of this set, and yes, it does not look very good. This is literally just Rocket's head from Guardians of the Galaxy thrown on top of some Ninjago pieces, and of course, a green hoverboard, or I guess, well, technically it's a surfboard, but it's meant to be a hoverboard in this context. And yeah, it doesn't really look that good. There's not a lot of purist ways to really make these sort of weird, are they rats? I don't know. They're really odd looking characters, and obviously have those VR headsets, which again, doesn't really work because LEGO's never done that before. So you could obviously make like this really intricately molded custom piece, but it would be pretty bad, probably, or it would be bad if I made it. That's the key there. Anyway, what I'm getting at is if you wanted to make a purist version of these sort of villain characters, I don't really know what the best option would be. This is what I came up with, and it's really not good. So our first figure up here is Jay, of course, and there's not really too much to say with this figure. The colors are relatively similar to the colors that we see with the Season 12 suits, although there are some things missing. Second up, we have Lloyd, who is, of course, very similar. Both these figures work together very well. Obviously, they look like they are sort of in similar suits, which I guess is a good thing. Lloyd only looks so much like his Season 12 counterpart. Again, it's up to sort of your interpretation, whether you think it's good or not. I think it's decent for a Pierce custom. But of course, he's missing the VR thing, along with Jay, who's also missing his VR thing. So that pretty much wraps up my thoughts on this Season 12 set. Planning to do a couple more, maybe, we'll see. I really hope this channel makes it to 2020. I mean, not that it's gonna die, but I do have some things to talk about in the future, and I probably will make a video soon about that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, of course, and with that, see you guys all in the next video. Goodbye.